today, and the executive members and all the members of the association. Um, it's, trust me, honestly, it's not easy to speak to a group of people like you all. All of you here, there's no doubt about it, have got lot more wisdom than me. All of you here have seen this world for a longer period of time, much longer period of time than me. All of you here have got a bundle of skill sets, a knowledge that I don't have. So it's really, this is the most difficult forum to speak at. It's easier to speak in a university, amongst the academia where I belong rightfully. It's easier to talk to farmers in the rural areas, but this is a very different kind of forum. Now, unfortunately, you all have undervalued yourself. For so long, the real collective wisdom amongst you has been untapped. We have in this Fiji, in any country, this stock of collective wisdom, time-tested out there, but this is totally undervalued, underutilized. Unfortunately, while we see so much issues in our Fijian society, that you all have not risen up to guide the society, to be the beacon for the society. You have an obligation, you have a moral duty to stand up and say that this is not the society we want to leave for our children or future generation. You have been the beneficiary of a society defined, developed by your forefathers. You have benefited that particular society. You have benefited that environment. You have benefited that natural resource. And now in front of you, to some degree, to some extent, the social fabric of this Fijian society is disintegrating. You haven't voiced. In front of you, to some extent, in some parts of this country, our natural resources are being fiddled around with. You, at your time, benefited from that natural resource. But you have an obligation to ensure that there's no one who will fiddle around with the natural resource and deprive future generations in this country not to benefit the natural resources and the environment in the manner in which you benefited. Now, I'm not saying that you're not doing your job. I'm saying you are, or you haven't realized the hidden potential you have to guide the society, to rise up and say, no, drugs are not accepted in this society. It is not only destroying this generation, it will destroy entire future Fijians, entire future Fiji. Why are drug peddlers going to our children, going to our schools? Because they know, one, they are vulnerable, they are emotional, they are not able to make that rational decision because they are kids. Their mind is still developing. It's an easy market for them, and if they capture the children, they'll capture the entire generation and go on our future Fijians in this country. You have to stand up and say that in every community, you want leaders who must talk about this, identify people who are trying to destroy our children, and say that you are not wanted in this community, you can't do this, because we're going to lose the entire generation. Entire future Fiji will be in chaos if the manner in which we see people peddling drugs. A person recently who was, caught by police for probably the fourth or fifth time. What did he have? You name all the drugs he had in his possession. Methamphetamine, cocaine, marijuana, whatnot. Now that is worrying. Now, worrying to me at a personal level as a parent. My second child is in primary school. But I'm worried about the entire children in this country. That these are future Fiji. And what do you expect? How do you expect them to perform if most of them are subjected to drugs and get addicted to drugs? You have a greater role. You can't say that you're not relevant. No, I'm telling you today, you are relevant now, you were relevant before, you'll be relevant tomorrow, you'll be relevant till your last day, because that collective wisdom that you have is time-tested. It's not found in the textbooks, you won't find it in the library, you can't find it anywhere. That knowledge that you have got, that knowledge, that collective wisdom is time-tested knowledge. You will stand up and say, people will respect you. People will respect you, trust me. We look upon you. Fijian society is a very cultured society. We have very high regard and respect for elderly, for senior citizens in our society, in our community. Let's not lose that. And for that, while we want to ensure that that culture is maintained, you also have to rise up and say, hey, I'm a valued member of this community. I've seen this through. This is how it should be. You will have to guide the community, guide the society. So, what I'm saying is that you have a greater role to play in defining future Fiji. You have a role to play in saying, this is the kind of society I want in future Fiji, our children should be part of, because this is the kind of society that we grew up, we benefited, and today you look how we have survived. You have a bigger role. And I'm telling you today that you will have to rise up and speak about the social ills that is happening in the community. Who are these people who are destroying the social fabric of our Fijian society? You'll have to speak up. You'll have to stand up. You are very important people. You're not forgotten. No, you're not forgotten. You are very important. You yourself have undervalued your talent, your wisdom, yourself. You'll have to stand up. There are various ways of saying it. You must have columns in the paper. You have columns, and president can allocate column and say, this week he or she will write, next week he or she will write. The papers, the print media will give you columns. You'll have to contribute in those columns. That's one way of speaking out. You will be giving statements. You must give statements. You have defined Fiji where it is now. So you have a right to give a statement. You give your statement, it will be published, it will be captured by TV. It's your right. You have defined, the contemporary Fiji has been defined by you. So you cannot say that, look, you're not relevant, you don't have a right to say. No, you have every right to say. The way you you will write in regular weekly columns. You will allocate based on expertise in different areas. The other aspect of your contribution to contemporary Fiji that I want to speak about is, amongst you, you have got experts in different areas in economy. Economic development of any country is very important for social development. Countries' social situations depends on economic growth and development. And here amongst you all, We've got experts in different areas. Is Manu Korogulubla here? No, he's not here. He's an expert in transportation. And I often used to interact with him when I was at FNU. Now, very rare talent he has. We will find very rare. We've got former Permanent Secretary of Finance and Commissioner Western, Sri Chan. So a lot of people here are experts in different areas of the economy. You can form expert groups and contribute. Now, you may say that, look, no one is listening to us. No, that's not true. We, policymakers, we read. We read every article in the paper. We may not take 100% of what you say, but look, it sticks. You keep on saying it stick at some point in time. We do read, we do look at alternative views. We don't want to be stuck and say that this is our view. There's a world view out there. We all policymakers have to open up to this world view. And we are. Mind you, our government does listen, does read. You have no idea how much we read, how much or what are the sources of information we get about people's views, people's opinion. Some people say that government doesn't listen. Government doesn't want to listen. No, that's not true. We discuss among ourselves after cabinet meeting what's happening in the society, community, how do we need to attend to those. So you have a lot of experts in different areas. Some of you are very active still, and you will be active till the last day, and we need that contribution from you to guide us, to guide the economy, guide the society. And as I said earlier on, that don't think that you're no longer relevant. You will be relevant till the last minute. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a responsibility to protect our society. You can't just say that, look, that's the job of the police, that's the job of the government. No, you are part of the society. You will have to protect our society. And you will have to demand order in the society. You are there amongst the rank and file. You are there all over. And you will have to demand that this is how the society should conduct itself. You will have to partner with us. You will have to support us in ensuring that we have conduct in the society, in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not a forgotten lot. Government is very concerned about how we deal with people who have contributed to our country for so long. We are continuously looking at ensuring that the policies that we make benefits is for everyone in this country, whether it's the disabled, it's the farmers, it's the household community, is those who are at the home and looking after the household, or it's the retirees. We want our policies to benefit every cross-section of the society. Now, if you think that some of our policies are not benefiting you, or it is against some of your, how you live, you should raise it with us. Never before this level of consultation on the national budget was done as it is done now by Honorable Minister for Economy, Honorable Syed Qayyum. Never before this level of wide consultation was done. Now, if you were missed out, you could have done a written submission. If you've done a written submission, then you have done justice by ensuring that you have done a comprehensive submission. It is important that every budget you make a submission. You would have never in your entire life seen this level of consultation done on the national budget. And trust me, those consultation matters in developing the national budget. While the national budget is a one-year document, you also would have contributed to our 5-year and 20-year development plan. And I urge you all that you, using your association's executive, do make annual contribution to a national budget. I fully understand that the other responsibility of yours is towards your members. But I personally would say that your greater responsibility is to define a future Fijian society for future generation. I think that is your greater responsibility, because you can't be selfish in saying, no, I'm on my way out, why should I bother? No, because you benefited from a society which was defined by your forefathers. So you can't say that. So that is your greater responsibility. But, of course, as an association, you also have a responsibility about your own members. And I do fully understand that. I just spoke to Honorable Minister for Land, and I will, after I speak, I will call and put him on speakerphone. He has said that he's willing to look for parcel of land for you. All you need to do is to formally put your application to him, to the Director of Lands. They are now advertising vacant lands, and he is willing to positively consider providing a small parcel of land. It may not be here, it might not be right in the heart of Suva City, but he will see where there is available vacant land. There's a lot of vacant land available. There's a lot of vacant. There's some in Lakena, but this might not be relevant to you, for you to really have an office there. So he'll look at the closest and he'll give you to choose from. So he's very positive about it, and he's I just spoke to him a few seconds back after talking to Mr. Shiri, and he's willing to quickly address that issue so that you can build your small structure where people can once in a round come around. Also, you can operate from there. You can have a hall like this where you can have your annual general meeting. But I suggest that you relook at how your membership. You need to infiltrate and ensure that you have members as far as possible, exhaustive. I know it may not be possible to have 100%, but if you have a proper, a kind of flexible subscription system, then you might be able to get closer to the population of pensioners. But you need to really define what is your association. Is it a pensioners association, or is it a retirees association? At the moment, I think it's a mix of it. I was talking to Mr. Shiri. I think you have people who are who would never been part of any pension and are not getting any pension. So you might have to really relook at what is this association, whose this association is. To me, it would be really good to have an association of all the retirees, and of course that will have an effect on your subscription. But it will be good because that's where the collective wisdom is, and you can do a lot. You can do a lot in terms of looking at various service providers. At the moment, government has provided you with basic quite a bit of subsidy on transportation. There are other areas where you can list down. These are the frequently used services by retirees, and then we can see how we could assist in talking to them and getting you some form of subsidy when you use those services or products. So there's huge opportunity in terms of assisting your members. Every member should also have a special death benefit whose family will be able to get once a member retires. Of course, it's very important that when a person leaves, there's a decent farewell and decent preparation, and for that it's very important that your association have that particular benefit. It doesn't have to be like what FNPF is paying, $6,000-7,000, $1,000 or so will do great. It's very important that every little cent at that particular little dollar at that particular point in time would matter to the grieving family. And it's very important that you have a decent event on that day. That'll be the last day for all. All of us will pass through that. I'm here tomorrow, I'll be sitting there. So it's nothing to say that, we don't want to think about that particular moment. So with these words, I want to thank you all for inviting me today. I'm quite humbled to be here. I don't feel comfortable talking to you all because, you're much, much older than me. You got this wisdom that, it'll take me time to, acquire that particular collective wisdom. There's no end to knowledge. All of you know it very well. There's blocks of knowledge that you have. I don't have that. And I'm quite humbled to be here, and I want to thank Mr. Naikar for inviting me. He's got a lot of energy. I really appreciate him. He often pops into my office. One day he came and I couldn't see him. I felt so embarrassed. I ran out and told my secretary, call him. I know I should see him for at least for a minute. And then she called, and then he came back, and I met him. And I felt very, very bad that day. So thank you very much, Mr. Naikar, and thank you all. Thank you.